Hello everyone, and welcome to the 2021 webinar. We're grateful that you've joined us for this quick update on what's happening with your Farm Bureau and what to expect in 2021. First, I'd like to bring attention to the special year that this really is for us. 100 years of the Tennessee Farm Bureau. 100 years since Joe Frank Porter and a group of farmers gathered with the goal of creating something impactful to improve the lives of farmers and rural people across this state. And it's because of you, our volunteer leadership, that we stand strong today, 100 years later, as the largest farm bureau in the country. We're excited to celebrate with you all this year, but even more so, we look forward to the accomplishments of this organization for the next 100 years. In preparing for this webinar, we sent you a survey asking what you wanted to hear. Your responses focused on the effects of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, the new administration and how agriculture will fare, the price outlook for farm commodities, and finally, slaughterhouses. COVID-19 amplified an already high concern over processing facilities, and your survey responses asked for a status update. If you think about it, those 4 topics create the acronym CAPS. You see here my Farm Bureau cap. This cap serves many purposes. It shields my head from the sun. It helps promote our brand, a brand that's celebrating the 100 years of meeting the needs of Farm Bureau members. And I think it also creates a unique connection with Farm Bureau members across the state. Just like this cap protects, promotes, and connects, we hope an overview of these topics will provide you with the knowledge to make our organization stronger. And together, we can continue to be the voice of agriculture.
I'm Robert Hill from Lauderdale County, and we know that everyone has been impacted by COVID-19. Myself and most of my family members have had the virus, and thankfully, none real serious.
I'm Robert Earhart from Sullivan County, and my wife and I had an extremely serious conditions from the virus, each spending several weeks in the ICU. And as we move forward, we think it's really important that the vaccination efforts move rapidly through the state to protect our families and the ag industry.
It's good to be with y'all today. I'm a big fan of the Farm Bureau. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for helping our economy. Thank you for the food supply that you help us with every day. We literally can't do it without you. And so what I wanted to do is take a few minutes and talk a little bit about our economic recovery. Certainly going into the beginning of 2020, our economy was so robust, and Tennessee was accomplishing so much with record sales tax collections and other key indicators that were all very positive, low unemployment, and then COVID hit. My work was to help us create that economic recovery group, and we reached out to a number of trade organizations, including the Farm Bureau, where Jeff Aiken has been a key part of that, and we built out the Tennessee Pledge. Then later, as we did other things like the Tennessee Strong Mask Movement. Thank you to Jeff, you and the group at Farm Bureau for your support in so many ways as we've worked with the ERG. So how have we done? Well, the sales tax records show that Tennessee has been very strong. The Harvard Tracker shows that Tennessee's recovery has been better than the nation. And so what we see is that there have been parts of our economy that have recovered extremely well, and then parts that still have a lot to go. Certainly the diversity across the state gives us plenty of work to be thankful for and plenty of work to continue to do. So when we look forward to the work in front of us, vaccines are going to lead the way. You've seen Tennessee, we've left the CDC's original guidelines, and really, instead of talking about job classifications and the essentialness of businesses, because everybody is essential to helping Tennessee's economy get back, we really focused on lives and the vulnerability of those who were overloading our health capacity systems. But how do we get shots in arms of the most vulnerable? What we hope that the Farm Bureau will help us with is, as we hit those age brackets and we hit the farming community and others, please convince folks to take those vaccines, both shots. And as we head toward this summer and next fall, as we try to head toward herd immunity, that will eventually allow us to get our economy back up and going. So we look forward to the future. We're thankful for all the CARES money that's been spent in small business, in agriculture, and tourism. That $250 million that has been granted by Governor Lee and the General Assembly with Financial Stimulus Accountability Group has allowed us to keep our economy strong and survive. And we know that we will be thriving, and with your help, we'll have a success. Blessings to you. Thank you for your work.
I'm Robert Hamby from Hamlin County, and my hope and belief is the administration will keep agriculture as a priority and a key component to bring us all together as Americans in this industry that we all love.
Hello, Tennessee Farm Bureau. I'm Zippy Duval. I'm president of your American Farm Bureau. So thank you today for being here on this webinar. And I know that Tennessee Farm Bureau has a great Farm Bureau there, and it's very powerful. The largest Farm Bureau in the country, celebrating your 100th year of being a Farm Bureau and representing the farmers in Tennessee. As I know, Jeff also knows that the power and strength of this organization lies in you. The grassroots of our organization are sitting around their computers today, listening to this webinar and informing themselves so that we can move forward and push our policies forward. I know that we live in difficult times, and I know it's been very difficult farm. I'll remind you that I got a lot of cattle and grow about 1.5 million chickens a year. So I know exactly the trials that you're going through because I go home each weekend and face that. Well, I've been home during the COVID, working from home, facing those same issues that you have. I assure you the American Farm Bureau has got your back. Every day, we have worked hard on the issues that we heard on our weekly calls back to our states. We heightened the level of communication, and in doing that, it made us more united, and it's made us stronger together. So there are silver linings in a difficult time in this pandemic. I will tell you, we're spending a lot of time right now building relationships with President-elect Biden and his cabinet. We are working hard to let them know that we want to be a resource for them, just like we were in all the different Congresses and all the different cabinets over the history of our 102 history of American Farm Bureau. We will work hard to get those positions, and we will make sure that they know what's going on the farm, and it'll all be based off the policy that you have worked for and put into place. I know that a change in administration is difficult sometimes. We have new leadership, not just in Washington, but sometimes in some of our government offices in our counties at FSA and rural development. And, I encourage you to stay engaged. Make sure that your voice is heard through your congressmen and senators, and write some letters to the administration about the people that's going to be located into your area and your county that's going to be serving you each and every day. Your voice is critical to us getting things done. And the other critical piece is relationships. And I assure you that we're doing everything we can do to build that relationship so that we can move forward. Thank you so much, Tennessee Farm Bureau. Thank you, Jeff, for your leadership and your board of directors leadership. Y'all have done a fantastic job. I always enjoy working with Tennessee farmers and Tennessee Farm Bureau. So thank you. God bless you. God bless your farmers. And God bless our country. We need to pray for it.
Hello, Tennessee Farm Bureau. It is great to be with you all, with all my bosses out there in the great state of Tennessee. And thank you for this opportunity to get to spend a little time with you. I sure appreciate President Aiken and Ms. Verdana and certainly Lee for giving me this opportunity just to share a little bit of insight as to what we are anticipating as we start this new year, this new Congress, this new administration, right out of the box. We've got over 60 new members in the House of Representatives, at least 8, possibly now 10 new senators coming in. That's a lot of change that we are seeing. We've also got a lot of change at the leadership level. We've got in the House Representatives, a new chairman of the House Agriculture Committee, David Scott from Georgia. Mr. Scott being from President Duval's home state, somebody that he knows well with the outcome of the elections in Georgia and the 50-50 Senate split. It is now the Democrats who will be chairing that committee. Debbie Stabenow from Michigan, who has chaired and ranked on the committee before. As we look down the street at the new administration coming in, President Biden-elect, we are looking forward to working with his new Secretary of Agriculture that he has indicated will be the returning Tom Vilsack to that cabinet position. Mr. Vilsack from Iowa, somebody that has a lot of experience during his 8 years as the Secretary of Agriculture during Obama. We know he will hit the ground running. We look at some key issues. Number one, we're already gearing up for the new farm bill. We know that we're going to have to start getting ready now because of the challenges that we have coming at us from other sectors of the economy that are represented in Congress, folks who want to take agriculture and use the resources that we have benefited from to deal with Mother Nature disasters, with trade disasters, and certainly with the COVID-19 packages. We're also looking at trade, but we've certainly got to keep pushing forward to make China adhere to the agreements that they've reached with us, with the United States. They're making great progress in terms of their purchases this year. We're looking at having one of the largest trade years for agriculture with China that we've ever seen. Ag labor is another area. It is long overdue for some meaningful reforms on the agricultural labor front to ensure that the farmers and livestock producers have access to a legal, readily available workforce that's available when they need it. We continue working on the regulatory reform. We recognize that some level of regulation is very critical to ensuring stability. However, some of these regulations, particularly those that like to mandate to farmers and ranchers, we've got to minimize that intrusion. We've seen great progress the past 4 years, but we got to keep a strong focus on making for certain that gets taken care of. And one other thing, I just kind of close with this at this point, is worker safety. And not just worker safety for those who work for you all on your farms and livestock operations, but for you and your families as well. And that's something we're going to keep very much on top of to make sure that whatever solutions are coming forward, whether it's on sustainability, on the environmental front, or it's on worker safety, or it's on pandemic recovery or trade, we want to make sure to take a line from President Duval. We want to make sure that the new administration, the new Congress, understands that we have every intention of being seated at the table, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we are not in the middle of the table and what everybody is planning to take a hammer to or to take apart for their own benefit. Our job for you all in Washington, D.C. is to protect your ability to run your farms, to run your livestock operations in a manner that takes care of you and your family and your communities. And I look forward to working for you and with you in that endeavor. Thank you.
I'm Mark Barker, and I raise beef cattle and row crops in Cannon County. We all know that we've seen an extreme fluctuation in commodity prices. A lot of that has been caused by the coronavirus. And I'm hoping that as more folks realize the importance of our food security in this country, prices will remain more profitable to protect our food and fiber supply.
Hi, this is Aaron Smith with the University of Tennessee Institute of Agriculture, Department of Agriculture Resource Economics. Today I'm going to be talking real quickly about what's going on in ag commodity markets and some things that will influence in price direction and profitability for Tennessee ag producers as we enter 2021 and move through the 2021 growing season. So to get to the price outlook, what we've seen is obviously a tremendous increase in prices relative to where we started 2020. And so when we're looking at old crops, so the crop that was harvested in 2020 and we'll finish the marketing of that crop in 2021, we've got very strong prices for corn. Cotton has come up, soybeans have been very strong because of the tight stock situations, and wheat has been very strong as well. So when we look at new crop, we expect that to continue to carry into the year. When you look at where prices are right now, we're starting out at a reasonable level. Yes, prices could go higher, but it's important for producers to consider laying off some of that price risk. Up to 60% before planting on some of the crops should warrant some consideration just to end up offsetting some of the price risk, given we don't have a lot of information about what 2021 planting and growing conditions are going to yield for producers. Currently right now in Tennessee, what we've seen prices favoring soybeans over corn, corn over cotton. Although there is some validation for corn with our very strong basis due to the potential for continued poultry demand. Obviously the Humboldt plant and the Pikeville expansion could end up continuing to improve that basis, which you do have to always factor in. The local market conditions will end up providing some opportunities for producers. And the one that I think is so important for our Tennessee producers is take advantage of storage. I think it's just so critical to marketing the products. When we look at the Tennessee cattle and dairy price outlook, we are looking at least a flat to possibly a better environment as we look to 2021. A lot of that stems from an estimated smaller calf crop in the U.S. than compared to 2020. We've seen very strong demand for beef despite the pandemic, and we expect that to continue as we move into the new year. The one caution that we will say on the cattle side of things, and it does filter into other livestock industries, is feed prices will be up due to the increased prices of corn and soybeans and wheat. Just quickly on dairy, we expect a very similar price environment, maybe prices up a little bit. Our expectation is for production to increase a little bit in the state, with profitability still there for some of our top producers. And despite this production increase, we're likely to see prices flat to slightly improved over 2020. All right, well, thank you for listening to today's 2021 Commodity Outlook. If you do have questions, please pass them along to your Farm Bureau representative, and we will do a follow-up video to get those answered to you and sent back out to the counties. Thank you very much.
I'm Riss Rich from Clay County, and last year we all saw how grocery shelves emptied of paper and meat products at the onset of the pandemic, and that created a renewed interest in consumers seeking out local meat processors. And in my county, it's resulted in a significant investment for a new slaughterhouse being built.
We are booked solid until November 2022. And I think approximately we have about 600 animals on a waiting list.
Once COVID hit, those backlogs went from 5 months to 10 months to 1 year, and now we have processors that have actually booked into 22 or the end of 22. I have one that's got books open into 2023, so those animals aren't even born yet.
For Tennessee's local meat processing facilities, it's definitely been a challenging year. COVID-19 prompted consumers to once again seek out a local supply of meat, and processors have been running at full capacity since. But even before COVID, they were already facing challenges of labor and dealing with the ups and downs of the markets. And there have been questions raised as to whether adding state inspection authority would allow more commerce.
For those of us processors that invest the time, energy, effort, and money into going through the USDA inspection process, and it's expensive. I got a lot of gray hairs through that time, a lot of sleepless nights. It was very stressful to get there. We're going to say no. We all need to play by the same rules. And then, say a facility wanted to do state and federal inspections, then how would that work? You know, there's so many logistical things. I think that at this point in time, if we're looking at what happened with COVID and trying to handle that, there's no way the state could get that in place in time to have any effect on what's happening right now.
Right now in Tennessee, we have approximately 16 USDA harvest facilities, and those will harvest for producers who are going to retail meat back to consumers. That is spread statewide. We have 16, and then 2 of those are actually only doing their own branded product line, so 14 will do for other producers. Aside from that, we have about 58 processors that are work under the custom exemption. So they are harvesting animals that will not go into commerce. So that's if you buy or sell a half or a whole, you can do that through custom exemption. We were lucky to get CARES funding through the Coronavirus Ag and Forestry Business Fund through the state, through Governor Lee's office and came down through the Department of Ag. So of that, we had $50 million. Of that, about 12 million, a little over 12 million, was put into the hand of meat processors across the state. So right now we have about 24 custom processors that are expanding. We have 3 new custom processors coming online. We have 12 USDA processors doing expansion, 9 new USDA custom coming online.
And so there's lots of things that is challenging what's going on right now, but the biggest thing is be patient and to know that if you've got a processor you've been using for years, he's not turning you away because he wants to. The only way we make money is to bring cattle in the building, process them, and send them out the door. And so when we say we can't, I promise you we can't, and neither can any of the other processors. Everybody's working long hours right now to try to get everybody taken care of.
We've done some consumer surveys to look at what we think they might do post-COVID. Most of them want to stay with their local farm. They now know it's not difficult to go to a farmer's market or to go to their local farm or to even go to a butcher shop, retail counter to pick up the meat that they need. But we're just going to have to wait and see. A lot of people say, yes, that's what we want to continue to do. But when the convenience of a grocery store is presented to them, will they transition back? That's what we're going to have to wait post-COVID and see really what happens there.
I'm Rhodes Platt from McNairy County, and I know our voice in Farm Bureau is more important than ever, especially with our lawmakers. The rural-urban shift is real, and Tennessee's agriculture areas are seeing distressing population declines. The population in my county has declined since the 2010 redistricting. In fact, McNairy County had nearly 800 more deaths than births over the last 10 years. That is why we encouraged rural residents to participate in the 2020 U.S. Census. The population numbers will have significant consequences as the General Assembly draws the Tennessee congressional and state legislative boundaries. We must encourage our lawmakers to make sure we have strong agriculture districts.
So those are just a few of the issues that we'll be talking more about this year. But as it has for a century, what makes our organization so special is our grassroots policy. It's been the foundation of our organization for 100 years, and it's the core of who we are. Our policy guides us as an organization, defines what we work on, what we communicate each year. The potential of our policy is huge, but if we don't use it, it doesn't fulfill its purpose. Just like when we grab our cap as we walk out the door and don't even think about it, we need to do the same with this policy book so we can seize every opportunity to advocate for what we stand for. As we all know, this year especially, the way we communicate with our lawmakers has changed. So we need to adapt to ensure our voice is still heard. Thank you for your patience in 2020. Your commitment to Farm Bureau is remarkable. And because of each of you, we navigated through some unusual challenges. But now, we look forward to 2021. Let's all put on our caps, grab our Farm Bureau policy book, and go to work advocating for Farm Bureau. Thank you.